much, Mr. Speaker, and allow me to congratulate you on your appointment to your position as well. It's great to see you in the chair, Mr. Speaker. Yeah, I think that's worth a round of applause, or at least a few applause here. Sorry to embarrass you, Mr. Speaker, but I appreciate, hopefully you'll give me some more grace now and some extra time in my speech as a result. So allow me as well, Mr. Speaker, to thank the great people of Northwestern Ontario for sending me back to serve a third term in Parliament. This is my first opportunity to rise and give a full speech in this new Parliament, and it remains a distinct honour and privilege to represent the people of Kanorra-Kiiwetinoong in the House of Commons. I'll just briefly thank, I don't have time to list everyone, but thank my family, the volunteers, the campaign team, all the people that put in the time and effort to knock doors, put up signs, do all the work to ensure that we had a successful outcome, and that I could be back serving the people of Northwestern Ontario. So now to the matter at hand, C5. Mr. Speaker, I'd like to focus more specifically on the Building Canada Act within C5. Of course, it's been mentioned throughout the debate that it would require a new major projects office to render decisions within a 2-year timeline, Mr. Speaker. Now, this is a good step, something that I'm personally happy to see the government finally moving in this direction, but it's interesting to note that after 10 years of Liberal government, we see them finally recognizing that things are not moving quick enough and that major projects are being stalled across the country. I truly believe that in bringing forward this legislation, Mr. Speaker, that the government is admitting to 10 years of failure, 10 years of roadblocks, 10 years of red tape and bureaucracy that has stalled projects, particularly when it comes to mining, Mr. Speaker. Now, the minister has said, I should clarify, the Minister of Energy and Natural Resources has admitted that it does take too long to get a mine approved in Canada. It's incredible to hear him say that. Welcome news to hear him say that to some extent. But again, Mr. Speaker, this government, the Liberal government, has to recognize who's been in power and who is responsible for the fact that it takes too long to build a mine in Canada. Today, the Mining Association of Canada, for that matter, notes that it takes 15 years on average to get a mine approved in Canada. I've seen other estimates that are higher, Mr. Speaker, but from the Mining Association of Canada, they say it takes 15 years. Obviously, an incredibly difficult situation for any investor, any proponent to want to invest in our country, knowing that they're staring at potentially a 15-year or longer timeline. And this is of important note because Canada is, of course, a top mineral and resource producer. Resource development is critical to our economy, not just the great jobs it provides for people across Northwestern Ontario and across all of Canada, the livelihoods, the paychecks that put food on tables, put gas in the gas tanks of vehicles, and ensure that people can have the life that they want to succeed and be prosperous. But mineral development is critical to our economic independence, Mr. Speaker. Truly now more than ever, as we see coming out of this lost Liberal decade, it's important that we get our critical minerals to market. But over this decade, we've seen roadblocks, we've seen barriers, we've seen red tape, and now we have the worst growth, Mr. Speaker, in the G7. The Liberals talked obviously a good game in the election. They said that it is time to build. They said a lot of the things that we have been saying for 10 years plus, Mr. Speaker. And it's now time for them to step up and put it into action. Because I know a lot of Canadians, maybe they want to be fair, they want to give them the benefit of the doubt, maybe, but they really have a hard time believing that this Liberal government, after all that they've done after 10 years, is actually going to step up to the plate and get our critical minerals developed. And the world needs more Canadian minerals. The International Energy Agency, Mr. Speaker, says that the demand for clean energy will require at least 71% more critical minerals than are currently being produced globally. But in Canada, According to the Mining Association of Canada, many minerals are not even being produced at the level they were a decade ago. The demand is going up, our production is going down, and who's stepping up to fill the void, Mr. Speaker? It's other countries such as China, where there's not as strong environmental regulations, there's not as strong protections for labor and for jobs, Mr. Speaker. It's other countries, dictatorships that are stepping up to fill that void that Canada is leaving behind. Now, of course, I mentioned the economic independence angle of this as well. With the threats from the United States, the uncertainty from the United States that has been produced, again, now more than ever, Mr. Speaker, we know that we have to move forward with these developments so that we can bring home the paychecks, bring home the wealth, and bring home the security to our own country, Mr. Speaker. But these delays and red tape have held, as I mentioned, have held back the industry in Canada. There are actually, Mr. Speaker, 42 projects that are under the federal assessment right now, 22 of which pertain to mining, 9 for transportation, and 4 in oil and gas. And the Minister, again, the Minister of Energy and Natural Resources, has said that there's a lack of investment certainty. Well, it's no wonder after 10 years of his government that there are 42 projects in a backlog currently under assessment. 12 of those projects are delayed, Mr. Speaker, are in Northern Ontario, representing a combined 2,100 jobs and nearly $2.7 billion of investment. And I'd like to touch on a couple of them, if I may, Mr. Speaker. One, the Crawford Nickel project. It would be north of Timmins. Mr. Speaker, it's been under assessment since 2022, and it would add 900 jobs if it is approved. Springpole Gold in my riding, Mr. Speaker, it's northeast of Red Lake. It's been under assessment for 7 years and represents potentially $2 billion in GDP growth, Mr. Speaker. An incredible opportunity for people in northwestern Ontario and for our economy as a whole if this government is able to get out of the way. The Great Bear Gold Project southeast of Red Lake. Lots is going on in Red Lake. It's very exciting, Mr. Speaker. Lots of opportunity if we can capitalize on it. But the Great Bear Gold Project has been under assessment since 2023. And the Northern Road Link project, north of Thunder Bay, it is a project proposed by Martin Falls and Webequie First Nation. It's been under assessment since 2023 as well. Lots of opportunity for true partnership, I think, between the federal government and these two nations, and really a corridor to prosperity for not just those two nations, but for our country as a whole. But again, these are all the positive things that could be happening. There are 42 of those positive things, those projects that are being stalled. And the government is bringing forward this bill now. They say, okay, they're going to get things moving in 2 years. But I say, why not start with the 42 projects that are currently under assessment? They're bringing forward this whole new regime, this whole new bureaucracy to hopefully move things forward within a 2-year timeline. And in many respects, I appreciate that step that they're taking. But after the neglect, after the constant roadblocks for 10 years, why not go for the low-hanging fruit, these 42 projects that are there, ready, waiting for some certainty. So I know my time is running short, Mr. Speaker. I would just like to end by saying that Conservatives are happy if even one project gets accelerated, Mr. Speaker, but more must be done. We definitely have to repeal Bill C-69, the No New Pipelines Bill, Bill C-50, the so-called Sustainable Jobs Act, the industrial carbon tax as well, Mr. Speaker, to help ensure that we can make Canada more competitive and thrive in the current economic situation. And Conservatives are ready to work in this chamber with all parties, Mr. Speaker, to unlock the resources that we have across our country. We propose shovel-ready zones that provide permitting, clear conditions and boundaries to start building the pipelines, the mines, and other major projects that we need to grow our economy, provide great jobs for people in northwestern Ontario and across the country, and of course secure that economic independence and security that I spoke about previously, Mr. Speaker. The resource sector certainly needs a break. They need some relief. They need some support from their federal government, and Conservatives stand ready to get that done, Mr. Speaker. Thank you very much. I look forward to any questions and comments from my colleagues.
Questions and comments. Question et commentaire, l'honorable député de Bourassa.
The honourable member from Bourassa.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. And I'd like to thank my colleague for his explanations. I think all of his comments have actually found answers within the bill. This issue of the decision-making process that he was referring to, the idea of having less of a weight for the decision-making process when he talks about any kind of oil and gas. That's not the only thing. Also, we want to diversify our economy. My question for my colleague is quite simple. Given that all the answers are there, those concerns about the economy, one single economy, that of all of Canada, would my colleague be prepared to work with his party in order to really contribute to making this project move as fast as possible for the benefit of Canadians?
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Certainly, as I said earlier in my comments, Conservatives are happy to see even one project accelerated. We think it's high time. It's long past time after this government has I wouldn't even say dragged its feet, but put up barriers and distinct roadblocks purposely to stop development over the last 10 years. So it's in some respects heartening to see that they're coming around. We're ready to work with them. We're ready to work with all parties in this House to ensure that we can unlock the vast potential of the resource sector across Canada, provide good jobs, provide more economic independence and security, Mr. Speaker.
The Honourable Member for Abitibi-Témiscamingue. Thank you, Mr. Speaker, and thank you to my colleague. My Conservative colleague is actually also on the Indigenous Affairs Committee. In fact, I think he will be back on that committee, so it will be a pleasure for me to work with him. I have a question to him. What question would he ask of Indigenous representatives if C5 were to come before our Indigenous Affairs Committee? Would he be concerned about the free, prior, and informed consent aspect? And what answer would he expect from representatives from First Nations? Does he think C5 meets the needs of First Nations?
Member for Kenora-Key-Watanong.
Well, Mr. Speaker, I appreciate the question. I do appreciate working with that member as well. Look forward to getting back to committee shortly here and working with them. I think the question was, I think, pretty hypothetical. I'm not going to try to guess what a hypothetical individual may or may not say, but I would just comment to some of the discussions I've heard and some of the things I've spoken to in my speech as well. I cited Martin Falls and Webequie First Nation, two communities with a major project that they are hoping to see move forward. They've been stalled in the government's current process, and they're looking to continue to move forward so they can bring prosperity to their communities and to the country. And I think it's important, obviously, that we, when we do get to committee, that we hear all voices across the country and ensure that we're doing as much consultation as possible. Thank you.
Questions, comments, Member for Okanagan, Lake West, South Kelowna.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. And I'd like to thank the member for Kenora for his intervention here tonight. I'd like to specifically point out that I believe he was saying that the previous Trudeau government had failed over 10 years to create a regulatory environment where private sector capital could form and come together and build big projects, whether it be mines or other forms of infrastructure that we need to be successful in our economy. C5 is literally an admission of that. Now, the thing I wanted to ask this member, one of the fatal flaws, I think, to this legislation is that the Prime Minister has given a carve-out to each provincial premier. And by saying that something is in the national interest is essentially saying that it overweighs provincial interests. Now, by saying that a provincial premier has a veto, does he believe, like I do, that this legislation essentially creates, again, 13 economies and not one national economy?
The Honourable Member for Kenora-Key-Watanong, about 45 seconds.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I really appreciate the member from British Columbia for that question. It's definitely a concern that I have. Obviously, we're as Conservatives, we're wanting to see one Canadian economy. We're wanting to see these barriers broken down. But allowing any province to have a veto really flies in the face of that. And this government has talked a lot about the need for consensus to get major projects built, but they don't even know how they will actually define consensus, Mr. Speaker. It's very concerning, and I definitely agree with the member and his sentiment in that. Thank you.